Hello and welcome to the Royal Horticultural Society's Chelsea Flower Show 2026, an event supported by Range Rover.
Today is the first day of the week that the show has been fully open to the public, and it's been packed with people enjoying the gardens and plants in the Great Pavilion.
It has been packed, and I know that it's been a sellout, but it hasn't felt sort of jostly packed to me. I've known other years when it just felt a bit more compressed.
There's more ease.
It is. Well, the sun's been out.
Exactly, relaxing.
That is the key thing. Now, coming up on tonight's show, I will be meeting the actor David Harewood to talk about the ways that gardening has enriched his life.
And we'll be celebrating the high level of craftsmanship on display here at the show and looking at how the history has inspired the designers and exhibitors in their creations this year.
I have always felt that gardening itself is a craft. That you and I will go on learning to the day we drop.
Still learning.
But I love seeing craftsmanship, and in stone and in wood, and using these materials and how they blend in. And we are seeing that in gardens.
Oh no, definitely. And I think what's been really nice is seeing them used in a much more modern way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one garden that demonstrates this really well is the Lady Garden Foundation's Silent No More, which was designed by Darren Hawkes. And earlier, Arit and I went to take a look.
Have you been here yet, Monty, on this garden?
No, this is the first time I've set foot in this garden. Very unusual for me to wait this long, but boy, it's special, isn't it?
It's a lot.
It's wonderful.
A lot to take in.
I love the planting. We could talk about that. I could for ages. But just picking out bits and pieces of the craftsmanship here, my eyes immediately struck on these retaining walls. Stones placed upright. Now, in my part of the world, the top of a dry stone wall has upright stones all along it. They're called cocks and hens to stop the sheep jumping over. And so immediately I'm thinking, oh, that's a little bit of the dry stone tradition, but in a completely unexpected way.
Well, I think that what the designer's done here is bring that modernity in by using those materials, putting a sawn layer on it, and now it becomes the pathways through the garden. So I really enjoy the fact that the materials in here are very honest, but are being presented in a much more sort of modern way.
Well, I'm loving the limestone render, which actually we're seeing in various places at Chelsea now. 20, 30 years ago, people weren't using this. And it's lovely, it's got texture, it's got colour, it's picking up the colour of the flowers, and it takes skill.
Oh,
it's not something that anybody can do. This is a craft in itself, and you're seeing these skills, brought in.
Well,
I love it.
Well, the skills I think are sort of throughout this garden, many other gardens. Artwork is being done, handmade artwork. There's 5 of these sculptures around the garden to represent the different cancers, but they are subtle, they are honest materials, and I think that people are enjoying honesty. Honest materials, not the plastic.
And it is combining beautifully with the planting. I keep coming back to that. It's this idea that the two can complement each other, that it's part of a garden. I have to say, it's absolutely a knockout. I love it.
Skillful planting too.
Now, the truth is that whilst all of us love this kind of thing, our towns and cities are dominated by the sort of grim greyness of concrete, and that doesn't do most planting any favours. However, there are plants, if you choose them carefully, that can make that grim greyness a lot more pleasing. And Jamie has been looking at those plants to brighten the grey of our concrete urban jungles.
Gardening in an inner city location can be one of the most challenging environments to grow plants, and yet also one of the most important and rewarding. But in a landscape that's dominated by high-rise buildings, concrete, and a plethora of hard landscaping, the plants you use and the colours you choose can make all the difference. To set the scene, this is a communal garden in the heart of London, and to contextualise that, these are huge chunks of Portland limestone that wrap around me. And it's the same stone that you'd see in Buckingham Palace and so many other buildings across the capital. And it creates this inner city environment. But I'm surrounded by a palette of plants that thrive in this inner city location. In an inner city location, you're naturally going to have a lot of different hard landscaping materials. The designers, Joe and Laura, have created a palette of plants that celebrates and complements and works in harmony with these materials. You've got these most beautiful champagne-coloured irises just dazzling through the border, but then the softness of the rock roses, of the poppies. And when you come into it, and imagine after a long day working in the office in the city, coming out and seeing this green, calming palette, you'd just go, in an inner city location, space is a premium. And what Rebecca's done brilliantly on this balcony garden is use this brick backdrop to amplify and offset these colours. At the show, we're always looking into these gardens, but the reality is if you were on this balcony, you're looking out away. And normally in an inner city location, that's going to be a grey facade or something not terribly nice. So by using bright, bold, powerful colours, you're going to help to distract from that and create a really joy-filled space. The plants she's used, I think, are perfect for this. So we've got Welsh poppies at the front, we've got Californian poppies, it's poppies galore, honeysuckles, and even the foliage of this heucherella. It's simple but impactful, and the perfect example of how having a small space shouldn't limit the amount of colour you bring into a garden.
I have come to visit the RHS and the King's Foundation Garden, which celebrates the King's commitment to preserving heritage crafts. And joining me on the garden is Rob Slade, who is visiting Chelsea as part of a BBC, RHS and TikTok search to find new horticultural talent from the world of social media. Well, welcome, Rob.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Chelsea.
Thank you.
Have you been here before?
I've been once before. This is my second
Okay.
time.
Have you had a chance to have a look around?
I have. I've had a proper snoop, actually. I'm very inspired to build everyone seems to have a rill.
You've got to have a reel. You mean to say you don't have a reel?
I don't have a reel.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. I feel a bit like I'm missing out.
Okay, well, I don't think we're going to find a reel in
No.
here, but I haven't had a chance to look in here. So come on, let's have a look in here.
Okay, cool.
Gosh, masses of things that refer to crafts and arts and actually science,
Yeah.
I guess. Do you know this business of straw rope making?
No, I've never seen that before.
Well, apparently there used to be lots and lots of ropes made from straw because they were quick and easy, not particularly strong,
I was
but
gonna say,
surprisingly strong. And it died out because women made the straw.
Right.
And they only made it from one type of wheat, which apparently had an extra long stem. And people didn't like women earning money and selling it to make their craft. So the craft died out, and then so the wheat died out. So we've
right.
lost this heritage variety and the skill.
I mean, there's so many things that are sparking my interest on these
Right.
shelves, but I am kind of interested in what's in front of us.
Right.
I don't know if you've done much flower pressing
None.
before. Never.
Never.
It's really, really easy. I mean, we've got like a full-on flower press here, quite a pretty one as well, actually. You get your flowers, you slide them in, you tighten the screws.
You press them.
It presses them and it preserves them. I have also done it when you put it in a book,
Right.
an old book, because it does get a bit
And you press
stained.
it. I think Francis made that, I believe.
Oh, really?
I must do it. So you've been doing that?
I've been doing it. Do you know what, weirdly, Cosmos work really well.
Really?
And you can put it in glass frames, it looks quite nice.
I must try it. Do you know, of course, I love the building. I love the building. If you want craftsmanship, a building like this with its lath and plaster walls and its pegged oak,
It's a big,
beautiful.
yeah, it's a big old oak structure, isn't it?
Of course, famously, vegetable garden outside. Do you grow veg?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I like experimenting with different sorts of vegetables.
I like.
I'm trying a mangel wurzel this year.
Right, okay. Why would you want to grow a mangel wurzel?
I think I've just seen the impressive size of them more than... I don't think they taste very good, do they?
Are you into super large veg?
Yeah, sounds quite fun to me.
Right.
But they've accidentally had quite a high success rate on the old germination.
So you've got too many super large veg. Well, you don't have to grow them all, I guess.
Well, my mum's
Do you have a
got
big
some
garden?
now. I've actually got quite a big garden, yeah, it's
Right.
all right, with some raised beds that I've built.
Right.
Yeah, I'm giving it a good go.
I mean, I have to say, I think it is brilliant that your generation are embracing gardens and gardening and the skill of it and the fun of it.
Yeah.
And you know, if the road to horticultural heaven is via a mangel wurzel,
Yeah.
then that's great.
I think that it's the fun bit, I think, that
Yeah.
people don't often see that there's so much creativity. Well, this is a great example of creativity in gardening, and there's a lot of fun to kind of be had.
I think you're
sort of play.
absolutely right. Well, good on you. Good
Thanks.
luck.
Oh,
And
thank
it's been
you.
nice meeting you.
Thank you, you too.
Thanks a lot.
Kitchen gardens have ancient roots with evidence of vegetable plots dating back to Roman times. And in the last 30 years, growing our own food has become increasingly popular. One seed specialist from Dorset is growing new and record-breaking vegetables. We went to see them ahead of their Chelsea debut.
So, why do I love vegetables? They're beautiful plants, so very ornamental, and there's something satisfying about growing something that you can eat. My name's Joy Michaud, and along with my husband, we started Sea Spring Seeds back in the early noughties. We have a nursery here in West Dorset, overlooking the Lyme Bay, a quarter of a mile from the sea. When we started in 1989, we started growing veg, selling to the restaurants. But about 15 years doing that, we then switched to selling vegetable seeds. We had bought just a field, but over the years we put up the polytunnels and the greenhouses. In the early noughties, we developed the Dorset Naga, and that propelled us into starting our seed company. So this tunnel's got our Dorset Naga chilies in here. It took us about 10 years to get it ready. At the time, it was considered to be the hottest chilli in the world. When we had it tested for heat level, it came into nearly 1 million. We told our local newspaper. Next day, we were getting phone calls from literally all over the world. It went viral. You don't have to have a garden. If you live in a high-rise flat, don't be put off. Just put something on the sunniest windowsill you've got and go for it. It's easy. You know, you can grow salads or peas or edible flowers, so they're very pretty in the house, and it's so satisfying to be able to pick something and put it in your sandwich or in your salad. Here we've got our, what we call the salad table, all grown in these small troughs, which are perfect for a windowsill. To sow them, I just scatter the seeds on the top and let them come up. They're very easy to grow. This lettuce is called Anemones. Herbs do very well in these troughs. So this is a parsley, and with this you just cut it to what you want and then it will regrow. And that on the windowsill in the kitchen will go on all season. The best looking ones would be going to Chelsea. There are a few which aren't any good anymore. We did sow a little bit earlier than we should have done, and they've come on faster than we expected. We've done another sowing, so we've got some more troughs with younger, babyer leaves, and we'll take a mix of the two. The point of growing them in these troughs as baby leaves is you can sow them at any time of year, especially if you're growing them indoors on the windowsill. So you fill the trough up with compost, about 1 centimetre below the surface, scatter the seed thinly, and then cover it lightly with compost and then water it daily. We're facing south, so we get full sun, and the light reflects off the sea, so we get much higher light levels. As chilies and tomatoes are our main crops that we grow, that's perfect. The higher the light they get, the better they're going to do. The problem, though, is we're on a slope. Walking up and down gets harder every year. And we do all our potting up from a wheelbarrow. These are 1 litre pots, and we're potting up these. This is New Mex Twilight chilli. It's one of the prettiest chilies there is. The chilies start purple and then they ripen yellow, orange, red. They're very good as houseplants, so long as it's sunny. Basically, if you're growing chilies, the mantra is light and heat. If you get that right, you'll have a good chili plant. In this greenhouse, we've got all the chilies that we're going to be taking to Chelsea. We've specialised in chilies for the last 20, 30 odd years, so we feel that we've got to get this right. Normally, you would sow chilies January, February or March, but all these we sowed in December to try and get them ready for Chelsea in May. We breed chilies, and one of the varieties we bred is this one here. So this is Dawn, and this one here came from the same cross, and this is Dusk. When we made the cross, they segregated out into a variety that starts purple and ripens to a red, and this one starts yellow and ripens to a red. Good hot chilies, very productive. Just look at all those fruit. A great plant for the sunny windowsill in the house. A lot of the chilies are now ripe, but we don't want them to be overripe because then they'll start to dry out and get wrinkled, and that, of course, is no good for Chelsea. So we're keeping them cold at night. We're not shutting the greenhouses. Right, these tomatoes are for Chelsea. They're going to go in the back of the display. This variety here is micro cherry. They're perfect for hanging basket because they just trail down. No pinching out, no staking. They look lovely and healthy, and there are lots of fruit in there if you look. I started doing RHS shows a little while ago, and I've done all of them except Chelsea. Up until now, I've been intimidated by that because it is the premier show. But last year we thought we'd apply and we were offered a place. It's been a tremendous learning curve, just getting the plants ready in middle of May, which is not a natural time for any vegetable display. And our display is going to be vegetables grown in containers. I really believe that everybody should be growing some sort of veg. It's fun, it makes you feel good, and it's good for you.
And here is a display from Sea Spring Seeds, and welcome, Joy, to Chelsea.
Thank you.
You've made it. How has your week been?
Oh, well, it's been exhausting. It started last Friday to do the build. That took me 3 days. And then we've had the show running from 8 in the morning to 8 in the evening for the last 3 days. And we have, I think, 3 more days to go.
Exactly. You'll be absolutely fine. And the weather has been so interchangeable. How have you managed with all of the growing?
Preparing the plants for the show has been a challenge because we sowed our chilies in December so that they'd be ready by May. But we had about 6 weeks of no sun, rain every day, and chilies, of course, need light to grow, so we struggled with that. But they've come on, and I'm very pleased with them.
Well, they look great, and you've got some, a lot of varieties here because you've got some quite hot ones. So just tell me of these ones that I can see, which is the ones that you like.
Of the chilies we've got here, this one here is the hottest.
Okay.
It's measured at 70,000, which in my category puts it as a very hot. I mean, it's got these beautiful leaves which are variegated and got all these different colours. The chilies themselves, the unripe colour, well, it's actually purple, but it looks black. And as they ripen up, they'll go red. And then this has been attracting a lot of attention.
Oh, good. And what about this one here? What's this?
This one's called Stumpy, and it genuinely is Stumpy. It will not get any bigger than that. The chilies are about that size, but the plant never goes taller than that.
Okay, so I'm looking for the Dorset Naga. Did it make it?
No, we didn't do Dorset Naga for Chelsea because it's a slow grower. It's a super hot, one of the world's hottest. But we would have had to sow it in October to have it ready in May. We've got young plants of it, which we are selling, but not for the display.
Not for here. No. So you tell me, how did you get on with your medal?
I got a gold.
You got a gold?
I really got a gold. I am thrilled. I didn't expect it. I mean, I was told first time Chelsea, you don't get one.
First time Chelsea, but look at this. It's fabulous. Congratulations, Joy.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Hope to see you again.
Yeah.
National plant collections make a big contribution to the Great Pavilion here at Chelsea. A national collection is a registered and documented whole plant group, looked after by growers to keep it thriving for the future. Carol has been exploring some of them.
How lucky are we? Because here in the Great Pavilion we've got several national plant collections, and not only that, we've got several national plant collection holders. The whole scheme is organised by Plant Heritage, and if you're absolutely devoted to a plant, then this is the job for you. Well, this is the National Botanic Nursery stand. You can see new things here, like this Sweet Dreams. It's a really spectacular plant, and the flowers are in whorls all around the stem. Who wouldn't get excited about seeing this national collection and really wanting to grow these beautiful plants? So Jonathan, wonderful national collection of cosmos and a gold medal too.
Thank you.
So for a national collection holder, you're a bit of a one-man band, aren't you?
Yeah, it's probably I'm a bit mad really. There's just sort of me out on my plot in Lincolnshire in the polytunnel, starting seeds in January in the dark, rainy days to try and get some colour here in May.
So what is it you love about Cosmos?
I think that if people can see this, it's just all the different varieties that the cultivars offer, the different colours.
Tell us about that one up there.
So that's called Fondant Fancy.
Yeah.
It's from the Cupcake series of Cosmos, hence the name Fondant Fancy. The cake
So
that
they've
you all
got
know.
more sort of globe-like
They're called
flowers.
fused petals.
You're quite an obsessional now, aren't you?
Yeah, I absolutely love these plants and I just want to share that love of Cosmos with other people. You have to balance bringing the new whilst also showcasing the existing plants that are around.
Yeah, and maintaining the old.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that.
Absolutely. Me too.
Phil, I think it's a magnificent display and it's so creative. I love that. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
And congratulations, your second gold.
It's 2 years, 2 golds.
Quite a record to keep up,
It
you know.
is, it's wonderful.
So you've only been holding this national collection for a short time.
Yes, that's right. So we took that over from my good friend Roger Parsons just a year ago. We've got 1,400 varieties and species within the national collection. I'm so keen to discover new varieties, new colours, new colourways like the Black Magic here. It's the only one with those colour markings in existence.
And every year do you collect the seeds like mad?
Yes, it's crucial to maintain that seed bank, that germplasm in the freezers,
Yeah.
so that we can offer it for generations to come.
Well, thank you very much from all of us. I mean, I want to grow them all.
So do I.
Yeah.
This garden is a celebration of the important work of growers who look after national collections. But it's also highlighting the precious plants that actually could be extinct in future if no one steps forward to preserve them. It's, in fact, a call to arms. And what you have here are a wonderful collection of plants. I mean, it's a beautiful garden, beautifully put together, all of which are in national collection, but it's a garden, and that's the key, because national collections have to be grown in a garden situation, which is why you can have more than one national collection. You can have, say, hostas growing in Aberdeen, in Cornwall, or in Kent, where the conditions will be different, the soil may be different, maybe more sun, more shade, so you really understand and preserve them as garden plants rather than just specimens. And of course, that's what we're seeing here. But we're not seeing certain plants, although the geums are wonderful and the aquiledias and the irises. William, this is your garden. It looks fantastic.
Thank you.
But what is not here and why is it not here?
Well, so over 50% of cultivated garden plants which were available are now not available. So the garden is an example of why it's really important for these national collections to exist. Some of the plants in the garden are quite rare and are held in national collections. Some of them aren't rare yet, but if they're not preserved in these sort of living libraries of the national collections, then they could easily go out of fashion and then not be available.
So it's a living archive.
Yeah.
And preservation.
Exactly.
Now, have you got every single plant possible in a collection?
No, that's really important. So there are common garden plants which aren't currently protected such as Verbascum here we've got, which is a really common garden plant.
Why?
Exactly. So it's really important. We want to find that that missing collector of Verbascum.
So just explain to me. You say you want to find them. You and I know that in this wonderful horticultural world, it's full of people obsessed by plants. There must be someone out there who has a large collection of Verbascum and loves them more than anything else in the world.
Yeah, and hopefully they can come forward and become that registered
national collection. And who
decides
that? Who chooses
So Plant Heritage are the charity behind the national collections,
right?
And they act as keeping this register, so we know where all these plants are, we know who's got them.
Yeah, so if I wanted to become one of them, what do I have to do?
Get in touch with Plant Heritage.
Yeah.
Tell them what plants you've got. Tell them what plants you're interested, and they can work out what would work best for you.
Do you need a big garden?
Not necessarily, no. So we've got Thalictrums on the garden, which have been borrowed from Nick Hook, the collector, and they're all grown in a patio in pots. So depending on the size of the plants you're collecting, there's a real variation. And you can be a plant guardian, so you just have to look after one cultivar instead of a whole collection.
So what we want is anybody watching this who would like to be part of this, to fill that gap that needs filling, contact Plant Heritage.
Contact Plant Heritage. You can find out about all the work they do.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Rush to the phone.
Yes, please, become a member.
Okay.
There's lots of information.
All right. Thank you very much, William.
Thank you very much.
Now, speaking of gardening heritage, believe it or not, gnomes are back at Chelsea, thanks to the lifting of the RHS ban. It's the first time they've appeared since 2013, and it's thanks to His Majesty the King, who is a fan. Monty, are you glad to see them back?
I think glad is a little bit extreme, but if it makes the king happy, I'm all for it. OK, there's still plenty to come on the RHS Chelsea Flower Show 2026, an event supported by Range Rover. I will be meeting the actor David Harewood about why he has a passion for colour in his garden.
Adam's going back to basics when it comes to creating perfect seating areas in your garden.
And we will be bringing you a host of new plants that are making their Chelsea debut.
But first, from Victorian fern fever to modern sculptural succulents, our love affair with houseplants has a long and varied history. But how are past trends inspiring new looks? Francis went to explore the Houseplant studios to find out.
We may think of houseplants as being a very modern trend, but actually the Victorians loved them. They were a real status symbol. The rarer, the better. The fern craze swept across the country and people had them all over their homes. So they're by no means a new invention. The modern way of displaying houseplants is slightly different from that Victorian ideal of order. It's all about relaxation, and this is the conservatory, where these beautiful plants, the same kinds of plants that would have been displayed back then, are now being draped, hung from the ceiling and potted in tiny little pots on shelves all around to create a very calming and tranquil space here. Although we may not have a fern fever anymore, ferns still make excellent houseplants. And this is one, this is a bird's nest fern, a very close relative of the kinds of heartstem ferns we find in woodlands. But this one is from the tropics, and so it needs to be much warmer. But it's an epiphyte, so it naturally grows on branches or trunks of other plants. So it doesn't have big root systems, it's kind of an air plant. So lots of moisture around the foliage will keep this happy. And another is a stag's horn fern. And it works really well here because it's displayed in this hanging bowl, so you see it from below. Naturally, this would grow in a tree, so this is how you'd see it in the wild. The 1970s marked the first boom in houseplant popularity, with the indoor jungle aesthetic becoming super popular and marking that change into a more bohemian kind of lifestyle. This is the heliotropic carousel. Now, heliotropism is when plants grow towards the light. And this is a celebration of light with windows all around. I think if you're going 70s, you need to go bold. And this is about as bold as they come. It's huge. It's Justina reflexa. It's really beautiful, but they're so easy to look after. And with just one plant, that makes a really, really big impact. By the time we got to the 90s and the noughties, it was all about minimalism, succulents and cacti, and they were used in our homes really more like accessories than plants. This houseplant studio is called Ode to Endurance, and it puts these plants centre stage and really celebrates them for their low maintenance nature. This is so minimalist, just like the 90s, but instead of being maybe a bit cold, it's warm and cozy. It's Hygge meets Arizona. When you look back through history, the plants that we grow as houseplants, right from when we first started doing it, haven't really changed that much. But the way we grow them and the way that we display them can transform our homes.
Any visitor coming to Chelsea over the last 10 years or so will be very familiar with the wonderful gardens of Mr. Ishihara. And again, this year he's done another superb garden. And of course, the great attraction is seeing a garden that is so different to our own. And we've absorbed lots of plants from Japan, hostas and acers, and from all over Asia, going right from Japan across to the Mediterranean. What I want to look at is the way that we have absorbed these influences, perhaps to an extent that we're not quite aware of, and included them in our very Western gardens. Here in the Asthma and Lung UK Breathing Space Garden, designed by Angus Thompson, there are really good examples of something that we've inherited from the East and perhaps don't use in the same way as they do in Asian countries. In Japan, they have a concept called Ma, M-A. And what that describes is the significance of the space, the seemingly empty space between two things. It applies to branches, to plants, to the width of a path, the gap between two hedges. That space is not empty. It is part of the whole thing. And of course here, magnificently, these pine trees, called the Two Brothers, are defined by the sky that they are enclosing. The space between the branches is as important as the branches themselves. It's not just a tree against the sky, it is the tree and the sky that have become the garden. The Children's Society Garden, designed by Patrick Clark, takes as one of its themes the idea of wabi-sabi, the celebration of things that are not perfect. One is reminded of that Leonard Cohen line, there is a crack in everything, and that's the way the light gets in. So you use reclaimed materials. The tin at the back is chosen not because the virtue of recycling, but because it's more beautiful than new tin. The rusty metal. Plants that don't quite grow as you expect them to, but actually by growing a little bit wonky, they become more beautiful. And actually perfection's boring. In people, in plants, in gardens, in life, everything goes a little bit off. And that's what makes it so beautiful. This is a really good example of wabi-sabi, and it's beautiful. You have wood with a split, which, if it's a table, is pretty disastrous, and you'd think you wouldn't use it. But it's been beautifully repaired, so the split and the repair become part of the final object. Talked a lot about the influence of the Far East, but this garden, Contain the Rain by John Howlett, takes us to ancient Persia and Islamic gardens. Now, the very first gardens are reckoned to be Persian, about 500 BC, and then the Islamic influence took over, and you have gardens that are just like this, which feels like an oasis. And we could all relate to that. All our gardens, in one way or t'other, are an oasis against the busyness of the whirling world around us. There's a tendency for us to think that our gardens are very British. But British gardens are influenced from all over the world, and an amalgam of discoveries and plants and thoughts and concepts, and a lot of those come from the East.
Across the week, we've been looking at the growing opportunities for women in horticulture. This exhibit is from Frank P. Matthews Trees, a 125-year-old business that's now managed by the great-granddaughter of the founder, Steph Dunn James. Now, Steph, you are the first woman in the family to take charge of it. Is that something that you planned?
I think I've always been interested in coming to the family business. The horticulture is definitely in my blood, one way or another. So yeah, it was planned. My father always encouraged me to do other things, you know, find other interests as well, but it was always planned for me. As a child, I used to go and play in the garden, make mud pies, be with the trees. I love to be outside. So I think in some ways it was slightly inevitable.
Well, I think that's absolutely lovely. You're obviously destined to do it. Now, you've got a gold medal, which is fabulous. Yeah. And are there some standout varieties that's kind of really worked for you?
Absolutely, yeah. So on this display, we have a range of different malus trees, or malus. Some of the varieties that we have here are also fruiting apples, and we've brought them in trained forms like espaliers. So everyone's been absolutely loving the espaliers, taking lots of photos of them. We've also got this really lovely upright variety here called Aros, Malus Aros, and it's purple leaved, really vibrant pink blossom. It's really upright as well, so it's great for small spaces.
Oh, well, that's really good because people want to be able to grow their own, but having a great big apple tree might put people off, so
Yeah.
it makes sense. What would you say to young women who want to get into horticulture?
That's a great question. I think just go for it. So follow your passion. Passion takes you a long way. Ask lots of questions. I think the combination of knowledge and passion really can take you far. And find a good mentor. There's lots of strong women out there that will be happy to advise how they've proceeded through the industry. And it's a lovely, friendly industry as well. I mean, in the build-up, for example, the sense of camaraderie in the Great Pavilion is really quite something. So there's so many people willing to advise and help. So, yeah, just go for it, really.
Well, that is great advice, so thank you so much. And congratulations again. The Great Pavilion is the place for growers to present their most exceptional plants, including some exclusive new varieties. Have your notebooks ready, because here's Rachel with some you'll want right now.
Throughout the week, we've been looking at some new plant introductions, and today I found 3 absolute gems. Summer is all about bringing masses of colour into our gardens, and Bidens are long-term favourites for doing exactly that. This new one is called Electric White XXL, and it says that because of the size of the flowers. So usually Bidens flowers are very small. These are really big individual daisy-shaped flowers, and the Electric White refers to this white edge around the petals, and that becomes even stronger if you're growing it in a really nice open sunny position, which is what they like best. Now, you could grow it at the front of a border because it's quite compact and low growing, but I think it just looks incredible in a pot. All those flowers, what's not to like? I found a very good spot right next to this dicentra called Passion Hearts, and it's a real development in the breeding of dicentras because most of them want a nice shady spot in the garden. This one is specially developed to tolerate full sun, and it also likes excellent drainage, so somewhere nice and gritty. I love this gorgeous ferny foliage at the base. And then the flowers tend to cluster at the very top of the stem, and they've got this wonderful bicolour from pale pink fading through to deep sort of magenta pink. It's really lovely. Most dicentras have a short window somewhere towards the end of May, and then they finish. This one flowers from May right the way through the summer season, so you're going to get masses of flowers during that time. Altogether, I think it's really very special. Always exciting to have a new tree, and this Sakura cherry is absolutely unique. It's called Sumara Fugenzo, and it has something I think that I've never seen before, this incredible colouring on the flowers. And then as the individual flower ages, it takes on more and more pink, so that by the end of the flowering, they're really quite pink. When the flowers very first come out, the foliage is coppery. You can still see that a little bit in some of the leaves. And then through the season, they become green, and finally in the autumn, they become orange. So you've got those 3 seasons of interest. Now, it's going to grow to be a medium-sized tree, so you could put it in a really large pot, make sure it's well fed, but I think it's always going to be happiest in the ground. And look, absolutely sensational.
My guest tonight is an acclaimed actor of stage and screen who you'll know from Homeland, Blood Diamond and The Night Manager, as well as his powerful documentary work shining a spotlight on mental health. Away from the cameras, in recent years at least, he's taken up gardening. Now, welcome, David Harewood.
I feel like a little tiny bit of a fraud in that it's not that I've taken up gardening, I've become interested in gardening.
Listen, that's the same thing.
Is that the same thing?
It's the same thing.
Oh, I always thought you were supposed to get...
No, that's a very British thing. You're not a proper gardener, you say. Let me see your hands. Tell me a little bit about your garden.
Well, we moved into our house in South London about 10 years ago. It was a new build.
Yeah.
It was a little overgrown and a little bit uninteresting. And my gardener, who's over there, Ian Bridgeford, somehow he got called in to help them rearrange something. We got chatting, and he started suggesting things, and I started to I was listening, and just the way that he is, I became so interested in what he was saying. And just watching the results of things grow and things come back the following year. And I was working in North America for a good 10 years. Yeah. So I'd come back and I'd see something had grown and something had died and something didn't make it and something. So over the years I started to sort of suggest things. And I've now been back in England for about 4 or 5 years, so I'm much more at home now, and I'm loving it. I'm, get rid of that. That doesn't work. Let's put this one in. That's going really well. That's really, really healthy. Let's get some more of that. And it's just the whole thing has grown and become alive.
And what does it do for you to be out there? I mean, let's not beat around the bush. You have spoken and written and filmed very movingly about your own issues with mental health. And certainly that's become part of the sort of gardening vernacular and language, is that it helps mental health.
Very good.
Is that working for you?
100%. I mean, I could go out there for 10 minutes and the next thing I know I'm out there for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And I think that's wonderful. That time, stress, pressure just seems to disappear when you're in the garden. Because you've got things to take care of, you've got things to nurture, you've got things to care for.
You see.
And I love that. I love the fact that it's taking pressure off, but it's taking the importance of the outside world.
But you see, the thing you raised there, which strikes me as really, it's about having to look after something.
Exactly. Take care of something.
Yes, exactly.
And, I mean, I have a wonderful therapist, and he's always telling me to take care of my younger self. Because in a way, I probably didn't take care of that younger self, which is probably what led to my issues. And so this idea of nurturing this younger person, I guess you can apply that to anything. Take care of this little plant here. Yeah. And seeing these, I love all these bees just buzzing around. Yeah. My kids would probably freak out. But I love the idea of being in the middle of this space, which functions not just as a sort of a feeding ground. It's beautiful. It gives you pleasure. You create a space. Yes. A space of peace. It's magical.
And healing.
And healing, of course, yes. Yeah. Being in there is healing.
Do you know Chelsea, for example? Have you been here before?
I've never been here before, but I'm loving it. I came down an hour ago. Yeah. And I'm going, look at that! Yeah. I want one of those! I want that!
I mean, apart from wanting to acquire or Chelsea, and I love this idea of you with your gardener in tow, get that, do that! but just going back to this other aspect, because it's something that's very close to my heart too, is I look out there and I just wonder what these people are getting from it, and how important it is to be able to draw this in. I mean, become not even consciously healing, but just have the vocabulary, have the armoury to do that. Yeah, do you think that's happening?
I do. I think people take from it. It inspires people. It's sort of, and I think we're attracted to something. I think, from what I've seen so far this morning, I'm attracted to it because I know it's going to make me feel good. If that's in my garden, it's going to make me feel good.
And your parents were part of the Windrush generation.
They were, yes.
Do you think that they feel, and everyone else feels, that they are bringing something with them that relates to growth and plants and food and things like that, or that they're excluded and somehow not part of this sort of thing?
Well, I mean, I can't speak for them, obviously, but I can speak for myself. Yeah. And I would probably say I probably would have walked past in previous years. I probably would have said that's not necessarily for me. Yeah. But I think having a space and just, again, learning about taking care of plants and the pleasure that they can, that's sort of broken the back of it for me. And then coming here, and I feel completely at home. I feel completely comfortable and inspired, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing.
You can't be a national treasurer and not feel comfortable and at home at Chelsea. Come on. Anyway, listen, I hope you enjoy every minute.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for everything you've done as well, and how you've spoken, how eloquently you've been, and the pleasure you've given to lots of people. And it means an awful lot.
That's very kind of you. Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
One increasingly popular perennial with a rich history is the anemone. And for one nurseryman who's had a lifelong love of these colourful blooms, they're opening up an exciting and varied future. We visited him as he prepared to bring them to Chelsea for the first time. And here are Andrew's gold medal winning anemones. He promised us a riot of colours and he certainly delivered. Welcome back to Chelsea, Andrew. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very, very pleased with the display. Perhaps exceeded my expectations actually to get a gold medal, but I am pleased with how it looks, and I think the anemones are the winners here.
Oh, you've done them absolutely proud. Now, I saw that you had Panda in the VT, but what are you holding there?
So this one here is very similar to Panda. This one's called Bianco Centro Nero, so that's white centre black, and what I particularly like about this one, it has a little bit of pink hue around the base of the petal, and it's quite a vigorous grower. You have good stem length on this one. It's very durable in its leaf thickness, and it's a very prolific flower over a long period of time. So you get a decent anemone Bianco Centro Nero, you can get 8 to 10 flowers off of it in a season. So a very good doer.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I mean, look at what you've done. I mean, you've done this all on your own before you've been part of a team. How's the experience been doing all of this and bringing it to Chelsea?
Well, grueling is the word, because it takes a lot of husbandry to look after them over a long period of time. So in my glass house, which is like a side hustle, if you like, this is a hobbyist opportunity which I observed, and I'm very passionate on anemones, and I thought, well, let's see if we can grow some and take them to Chelsea. Started off doing it, planting the first corms in July of last year, and I finished off picking the last bunches yesterday for a refresh tomorrow. So it's a very long time.
Yeah, but it looks fantastic. So do you feel confident for the future in terms of maybe coming back? What are your plans?
Presently, the amount of effort that's gone into this is just unreal. And when I looked at them yesterday, interestingly, I thought, how many anemones could I have next week if Chelsea was a week later? And I worked out I'd have about 5 bunches. So I'm right on the very end of what the anemone coronaria can actually do in the season it's grown in, right at the very end.
Well, we hope that you'll be able to make it back. Congratulations, they look stunning.
Thank you.
Now, this week, Adam has been going right back to basics, looking at the essential components of any great garden. And tonight, he's tackling one of the really big ones, or at least one of the most important ones, which of course is creating a perfect spot to sit back and relax.
I've lost count of how many conversations I've had with gardeners over the year when they say, I haven't got time to sit down in the garden. Well, I'm telling you, if you get that seating right in your garden, that is going to be one of the most important things you do. So, let's break it into 3 sections. First of all, casual seating, maybe somewhere you'll just take a moment. After that, relaxed, you're going to linger, stay a while. And then, dining. So, after that, as a designer, it's really working out how the light moves through the space. Then, where do you want to be at a certain point in the day? Think about it. This is lovely casual seating. I'm going to come out here, I'm going to have a moment. I'm wrapped with planting. I've got lots to look at. The wildlife are going to come in. So that moment becomes even more special. We can be very visually driven. How does something look? And yes, that's important. But for me, relaxed seating needs to hold you. So ultimately, atmosphere is incredibly important. If you want to bring a group of people together, you want to sit them in a space. Maybe if you've got room, it's away from the house, so you've got that disconnect with everyday life. You surround yourself with planting. I know not everybody can have this, but it's got all the elements. You've got wildlife, it feels alive. You've got the sound of running water. It just sort of calms. And then as, you know, the evening approaches, you can light a fire. and individually, a couple, a group of you, just spend hours enjoying the space. If you're going to add somewhere to dine in the garden, I think the first thing to think about is the space. I've been to too many gardens where I've been sat round the table and it's been fine until you want to get up and you move the chair back and you're in the border. So be as generous as you can be. And what I love about this area, they've dropped the levels, which straight away changes your eye line. And that could be raised beds around your paving, you know. That eye line is so important. And then the last thing has got to be the materials. You know, here you've got timber, and that has this relationship with the timber building, you know. In reality, whatever you add to your garden, it just needs to feel like it belongs.
Now, some of you might have had some difficulty voting in our People's Choice Award if you're in the Isle of Man or the Channel Islands. It has been resolved, and we've extended the vote window until midnight tonight. So please do try and cast your vote again at bbc.co.uk/Chelsea, where you can find all the details of the 9 spectacular show gardens.
Okay, so a bit of time for some questions.
Oh, okay, fine, let's do as many as we can.
Okay, so Deepika on Instagram has asked, my 15-year-old step-over pear tree has dropped its bloom and the leaves have turned black. What's wrong?
Well, it could be late frost. I don't know where Deepika is, and if there was a hard frost, that would happen. But it's pretty dramatic, and it sounds like fire blight to me. And I'm afraid that affects the whole rose family, of which pears, apples, hawthorns, they're all part of it. If it dies back, I'm afraid dig it up and burn it.
Oh, drastic.
Yeah,
but
not
necessary.
good. Yeah.
Not good. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, let me ask you one quickly. How do you create a lush effect using tropical plants? Give me one or two decent plants for that.
If I was in shade, Batzia, so easy. If you've got damp soil, Ligularia, I really love Ligularia. And if it was sunny, I'd go Melianthus. There's lots of Melianthus major. Very nice. Yeah.
Good advice. Okay.
So that's it for tonight. Join Nikki and Angelica tomorrow on BBC One at 2 p.m.
Sophie and Adam will be back on BBC One at 7 o'clock in the evening, and they'll be chatting to Michael Ball, and you can join us at 8 o'clock on BBC Two when we will be celebrating the Great British Summertime. But until then, bye-bye.
Good night.